Peter Drucker's work laid the foundation of MBA programs. He had a direct influence on huge organizations like Procter & Gamble, IBM, and even Intel. Let's dive into the video and absorb the wisdom from Peter's notorious work, Managing Oneself. Lesson 1. What are your strengths? We need to know what our strengths are to make wise decisions and know where we belong. Feedback analysis is a technique that will help you discover your strengths. Whenever you make a key decision or take a key action, write it down and what you expect to happen. 1 year later, compare the actual results with your expectations. In 2 to 3 years, you'll know where your strengths lie. When you discover your strengths, Peter suggests 3 key actions to take. 1. Concentrate on your strengths. 2. Improve them. And 3. Find what things are inhibiting your strengths. For example, you could be a fantastic engineer coming out of university, but if you don't have any social skills to successfully communicate your expertise to clients, then you can't make the most of your strengths. The next point is crucial. Peter says, it takes far more energy and work to improve from incompetence to mediocrity than it takes to improve from first-rate performance to excellence. And yet most people, especially most teachers and organizations, concentrate on making incompetent performers into mediocre ones. Energy, resources, and time should go instead to making a competent person into a star performer. Lesson 2. How do you perform? A person's ideal way of getting things done can be slightly modified, but it is unlikely to be completely changed. We perform at our best only when we become aware of in what ways we work best. The first thing to know is whether you're a listener or a reader. Which one are you? Would you rather read a physical book or listen to an audiobook? Secondly, how do you learn? If you're a computer programming student, for example, do you learn best by taking notes? Is it listening to your lecturer, reading a textbook, or writing computer code? Other things to consider are what kind of environment do you work best in? Do you work best alone or in a team? Or do you produce great results as a decision maker or an advisor? Peter's main message is to not try to change yourself. Instead, work hard to improve the way you perform and try not to take on work that you will perform poorly. Lesson 3. What are your values? Let's say you work as a hiring manager at Sam's Pizza Bar. You value hiring new employees to improve the business, but the organization values improving their existing employees. If your values conflict with the organization's values, then you'll be frustrated and perform poorly. To perform at your best, your values should match. It's possible for your strengths and values to conflict. For example, Peter was a great investment banker, but he valued people, not being the richest man in the cemetery, as he put it. So he quit his job, despite being in the middle of the Great Depression in the 1930s. Now my top 4 values are health, time, passion, and freedom. Last year I was offered a job at a multinational tech company, but I was one of the 2 out of 30 people that turned down the offer. The hiring manager's tone of voice indicated that I was out of my mind when I turned down the offer. But I value freedom and time, and working 15 hours a week at an office desk giving over-the-phone technical support wasn't something I was passionate about. I'd rather spend my time doing something I love, like making these videos. Lesson 4. Where do you belong? At the intersection of your strengths, values, and how you best perform will be where you belong. You'll be confident making decisions when opportunities come your way. Maybe you'll perform better as a social worker than an accountant. Knowing where you belong will allow you to go from a mediocre worker to an outstanding performer. Lesson 5. What should you contribute? In other words, what tasks should you spend your time on? To answer this, Peter challenges us to ask 3 questions. 1. What does the situation require? 2. Given my strengths, way of performing, and my values, how can I make the greatest contribution to what needs to be done? And 3. What results have to be achieved to make a difference? It's rare for a plan to be clear and specific if it exceeds 18 months. So we should be asking, where and how can I achieve results that will make a difference in a year and a half? The results should be hard to achieve, but not so hard that they're unrealistic to achieve. Balance is key. They should also be meaningful and make a difference. Lastly, they should be visible and measurable. Peter famously said, "What gets measured gets managed." From this will come a course of action. You'll know what to do, where to start, and what goals need to be set. Lesson 6. Take responsibility for relationships. People are as much of an individual as you are. They too have unique strengths, values, and ways of performing. Knowing what they are will allow you to work well with others, but if you want to find out, you have to ask them. Lesson 7. The second half of your life. After 20 years of doing the same kind of work, many people are very good at their jobs, but they aren't learning, contributing, or deriving challenge and satisfaction from the job. Peter suggests beginning a second career. 3 ways of doing this are 1. Start a career in a different kind of organisation. 2. Start a parallel career, more commonly known today as a side hustle. Do something part-time that interests you or consider volunteer work. And the 3rd is for entrepreneurs that have already built a sustainable business. Start another activity that you're interested in. Maybe you could start a not-for-profit organisation. To summarise, we learnt about discovering your strengths, performance and learning styles, discovering your values, how to belong, what to contribute, taking responsibility for relationships, and optimising the second half of your life. In the next video, you'll learn the memory techniques of the 8-time world memory champion Dominic O'Brien, how Dominic memorised 416 random playing cards in 30 minutes, and how to never forget names, faces, or numbers. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment or subscribe.